Hey there, my comic book peeps. I'm back from another Wednesday at the comic shop. Haven't moved back to my normal Thursday night just yet. But here we go. I got 6 comics and this hardcover. Grendel vs. Shadow by Matt Wagner with Brennan Wagner. I'm a Matt Wagner Grendel fan. And this is something I may have picked up in series, except that it came out on, I think, 3 issues that were that square, perfect bound, Dark Knight Returns format. And I really don't like that format for my comics. So I decided to wait and get the inevitable hardcover, especially since I think the issues were $6 a piece, and this was 20. So this was, minus the discount, whatever discount I get, $2 more maybe than the $6 issues. So, for an extra $2, I'll get the nice hardcover volume. I have a bunch of other Grendel hardcover volumes. I also have a bunch of other Grendel issues. It's good stuff. Hunter Rose, the original Grendel, there's lots of weird different Grendels, but he's the original one that Matt Wagner's mostly been doing stories about for the last decade. Anything before then can be any number of Grendels, but Grendel vs. Shadow, I'll give this one a go. And next we have Non-Player number 2. First issue of this came out in 2011. If you go to Nate Simpson's blog, he'll explain to you all about why issue 2 took 4 years to come out. It's a story of a guy who was paralyzed by success and then had a baby and had to get a job and has been drawing this at between 3 and 6 a.m. in the morning. But I remember liking the first issue a whole lot. It was one of the first hot image books way back in 2011. But since issue 2 never came out, it suddenly wasn't a hot image book. But you can still find they re-released issue 1 like a month or 2 ago as like a 3rd edition or something. So if you want to read Non-Player, good story about virtual reality, nice drawing. If you want to read it, you can probably track down the first issue and the second issue fairly easily. Give it a go. And here we go with The Empty, number 4, by Jimmy Robertson. I think I might be the only... I can't think of anyone else of our regulars on YouTube who's been buying this one. But I've been sticking with it and enjoying it. They just went to this world of talking insects, this land. It's really sort of a strange adventure story with these people. There's a giant praying mantis. She's our main character there. There's a sidekick they picked up in issue 2 or 3. It's a really kind of fantastical story about a bunch of fantastical people, creatures, trying to figure out what happened to what's killing their land that they live in, why they're all, starving to death. The plants aren't growing and such. It's tough to describe because it's so fantastical and magical and has lots of weird stuff in it, but I'm enjoying it. I think it's a good comic. Give Empty a try. And here comes The Imperium, number 5. Let's see what this pull quote says. I can't even read that. My eyes are unsettling and smart. Imperium epitomizes the height of sophisticated comic book stories. I can go along with that. I very much enjoy Imperium. Harada's the bad guy of the Valiant universe, but he's kind of, got good intentions, but doesn't necessarily follow them out in a good way, in a approved by society way. It's a book full of betrayal, politics, intrigue, long games. Harada versus the world. He took over a small country in Africa and decided to start, started to start a post-consumer, post-scarcity society where everybody can get food and water and whatever without having to worry about the basics of life. But everything's not going so well so far, and there's all sorts of people plotting against him. And I think he's going to steal stuff in this issue, if I can remember the way last issue ended. Yeah, but if you like a sort of political intrigue superhero book, give this one a try. And here comes No Mercy Issue number 3. I don't know how many of you are picking this up. I haven't seen that many people, but it's a Carla Speed McNeil drawn book, so I get it. I have to say I was a little on the fence with issue 1. Issue 2 was really good. I like Carla Speed McNeil's art. It really kind of upped the ante for these kids in a bus crash in a, I can't remember if it's South or Central American country, having to fend for themselves against also, and oh my goodness, it's like half the cast died in the bus crash. It was just like there's broken bodies and bloody things all over issue number 2. So the stakes in this are pretty high, and it's an enjoyable comic book so far. It's going to go to the top of my must-read pile this week. So that's a pretty good rise from the indifference at the end of number 1. So give No Mercy a try. Here comes Rat God, number 5 of 5. If you're a Richard Corbin fan, give it a read. If you're a horror fan, give it a read. If you're a Lovecraft fan, give it a read. If you like gory stuff, give it a read. Monster fight. I've just been enjoying this thoroughly. It's about there's our lead character there, this strange guy who may or may not be a light-skinned black man. I think he is, but he acts prejudiced against all the lower races. So he acts like it takes place in the 1920s. He acts like a prejudiced white person, but he's drawn as a light-skinned black man. So I'm not sure what the racial angle there is. But he chases some woman who he rejected, and now says, I think I love her, and goes to her weird town, and they have these weird animal sacrifices, and weird stuff happens, and murder, and death, and it just keeps getting weirder and weirder. Can't wait to see how it ends. Pick up the collection when it comes out if you're interested. Here comes Autumn Lands, issue 6. I don't remember seeing I can't remember when the last time I saw Autumn Lands was. It wasn't that long ago, but it seems like a while. They're moving the story along here in Autumn Lands. The big disaster that happened in issue 1 has kind of been settled down a bit. All the parties involved are kind of finding their places and plotting and getting ready to fight each other for whatever's left of the magic in this world. It's just been a solid fantasy story. I'm not even a huge fantasy. This is one I was on the fence about getting, but I generally like Kurt Busiek as a writer, though I don't buy everything he does. And I'm not a huge fantasy guy, but this one has had me hooked since issue 1. So if you want a good fantasy story, give Autumn Lands Tooth and Claw a read. And finally, we have The Wicked and the Divine, number 11. This one has been moving at a nice clip lately. It's about gods who come back once every 90 years and humans' relationship with them. This one human, in fact, she's the star of the book, and she's involved with these firefly-like gods because they're only around for 2 years before they disappear again. Oh, lots of explosions in this one. It's generally not, I don't know what those explosions were, because it's generally not an action-packed book. It's a book about relationships and how these gods are affecting kind of, people. But it's on a sort of a micro level. It's how they're affecting individual people rather than the world. So it's been a good ride, The Wicked and the Divine. I know a lot of people jumped off it because they expected more superhero-ness. This is definitely not a superhero comic. But if you like a comic about sort of mystical comic that I don't know what you'd call that contemplates life, because you'd think the gods would have it all, but they're only around for 2 years and they have powers, but they have rules between them, and there's all sorts of complications going on. So it contemplates life and how to live it. So give The Wicked and the Divine a read. Now we'll give you a look at my background art here. These are two of my covers to comics that don't exist that I've done over the years. I don't think I've done them in a little while. I think these are from, let's see, 2006. Their only mistake was entering the House of Fear. Nice little demon knocker there. I haven't looked at these in a while, so I amused myself with my own drawing. But these are, I just like kind of doing, it's a 15-cent, doing sort of old comic covers, my own version of them. These are not comics that ever existed. They're not homages or anything. I did them myself. This was On the Border of the Fantastic. This is sort of my mystical, weird comic. And I'm also going to, falling down. Since I'm kind of between gigs right now, I was thinking about putting some of my work up on eBay or Etsy or something, or if someone wants a commission or something drawn, let me know, because I'm working on one right now where my punk rock love stories, where I take an old love comic cover and redraw it with punk rockers and all the roles. I don't know why that amuses me, but it's fun. So yeah, I'll let you guys know if I put something, or when I put something up on Etsy or eBay, and I'll make a little video of it so you can see. And if someone wants to bid on something, they can, or else click on my email or send me a message. Okay, hope you guys had a good week, because read some comics.